They told you the economy is strong, that recovery is real, that unemployment is low. But here's the truth. Most Americans are poorer than they were a decade ago, and very few people are talking about it. Even when newspapers, TV, or social media talk about growth, the numbers don't reflect the reality most people feel. People are living paycheck to paycheck, struggling to pay rent, medical bills, and student loans, while headlines celebrate the so-called recovery. This is the silent recession, and it's happening quietly, but affects millions of Americans without them even realizing it. Hi, my name is John, and I'm an ex-banker who turned a YouTuber. I've seen how money moves behind the scenes, how policies and market forces really work. I've seen which strategies protect wealth, and which leave ordinary people exposed. Today I'm going to show you why the recovery you hear about is mostly an illusion, and why, despite all the headlines, most Americans are quietly falling behind. Chapter 2. The numbers lie. Let's start with the numbers. Median household income in the United States has barely moved in the last 10 years, once you adjust for inflation. Meanwhile, housing, healthcare, and education costs have skyrocketed. Even if your paycheck went up slightly, your actual buying power has gone down. The home you could afford 10 years ago is now out of reach. Medical bills can wipe out savings in a single emergency. Student loans have become a lifelong burden for millions of young Americans. Yet GDP numbers and stock market headlines create the illusion that the economy is growing and everyone is benefiting. This contrast between perception and reality is what most people never understand. Chapter 3. Why the system works for some? Here's a contrarian insight. The economy isn't broken. It's working exactly as designed. Banks, the Federal Reserve, and private equity firms aren't neutral. They follow incentives. Interest rate changes, quantitative easing, and regulatory policies shape the flow of money. They impact every mortgage, every car loan, every student loan, and credit card payment. Middle-class families feel the pain first. Investors and big corporations benefit the most. This is why the rich keep getting richer, even while ordinary Americans struggle to make ends meet. The system isn't evil. It's efficient. It rewards those who understand and control capital and leaves everyone else paying the cost. Chapter 4. Historical lesson. Remember 2008, banks collapsed, people lost homes, jobs, and savings. But the banks were bailed out and emerged stronger than ever. They learned lessons to protect themselves, while the middle class bore the pain. Fast forward to today, housing prices are absurd. Private equity firms and large investment funds are buying thousands of homes and turning them into rental units. Every rent check now flows to corporations rather than to homeowners. This isn't random. It's a deliberate system designed to consolidate wealth at the top. Meanwhile, most Americans struggle to save for a down payment or even pay monthly rent. The lessons from 2008 repeat themselves quietly in every housing boom and bust cycle. Chapter 5. Hidden stories in healthcare and wages. Healthcare is another invisible wealth transfer. Premiums rise, out-of-pocket costs climb, and debt piles up. Americans spend more every year while large insurance companies and pharmaceutical firms make record profits. This is how the system extracts wealth from ordinary people without most noticing. Wages tell a similar story. Full-time, well-paying jobs have stagnated for decades. Most job growth comes from low-wage, part-time, or contract positions. Meanwhile, corporate profits continue to hit record highs. The gap between labor and capital quietly widens every year. And yet the narrative is always the economy is doing well. This is why understanding the system is crucial to protecting yourself. A Chapter 6 tactical playbook, understanding the signals. Here's where insider knowledge becomes useful. If you watch closely, you'll notice patterns most people miss. Rising personal debt, inflated asset prices, stagnant wages. These patterns can warn you about risks and help you preserve wealth. Don't just follow headlines. They are often designed for perception, not reality. Key risk signals to watch: asset bubbles in housing and stocks, surging personal debt relative to wages, policies that favor investors over workers. Recognizing these signals early can help you make smarter financial decisions. It's about anticipating trends before they hit the average household. Chapter 7 Case Study: Pandemic Stimulus. During the pandemic, stimulus checks helped millions survive. But massive liquidity injections mostly went into asset markets. Stocks, bonds, and real estate surged, while ordinary Americans received a one-time boost. The system prioritized wealth preservation over real economic recovery. Those who understood this could anticipate market trends and opportunities. This is a clear example of how incentives shape outcomes and who benefits from economic policies. It shows why some Americans were able to grow wealth while most struggled. Chapter 8 The Silent Recession Revealed. The silent recession is invisible because GDP can grow while wages stagnate. Stock markets can soar while the middle class struggles. Most people don't realize they are poorer than a decade ago. It's systematic, not accidental. Understanding this gives you leverage. You can spot bubbles, anticipate risks, and protect your purchasing power. It's not about panic. It's about awareness and strategy. Recognizing how the system works allows you to act before crises. Hitch up to 9 key takeaways and actionable insight. The economy isn't failing randomly. It's failing according to incentives built into the financial system. Awareness alone isn't enough. You must act strategically, diversify your income streams. Manage debt carefully. Focus on long-term purchasing power rather than short-term paychecks. Those who understand the system can protect themselves and even find opportunities, while most Americans unknowingly lose ground. The silent recession is real, but knowledge is power. Now you have a glimpse behind the curtain and can take action to protect yourself.